and his recent Beneficial Fire Roundtable. And I also serve on the National Wildland Fire Leadership Committee Strategic Planning Committee. I'm really inspired by all the partners who have come together for this project. We have everyone from the local level. We have the Solano Resource Conservation District. We call them RCDs for short. Their partner, the YOLO RCD, the California Association of Resource Conservation Districts, and several local fire safe councils. At the city level, the cities of Vacaville and Fairfield and their fire departments, as well as the Sassoon Fire Protection District. At the county level, the County of Solano, their Office of Emergency Services, and the Public Health Department are joining us in supporting this project. And finally, our state partners include CalFire, Caltrans, and the California Highway Patrol. I find that very inspiring in these days of all of us working in our own different area, that we've all come together to work together on a project because we all recognize the importance of bringing beneficial fire back to the landscapes of California. So today you're going to hear from 3 speakers. The first will be Chris Rose, who's the Executive Director of the Solano Resource Conservation District, followed by Robin Rains, the Emergency Services Manager for the County of Solano, and finally Rob Wetstein, the Battalion Chief from CalFire. So with that, and we will hold questions to the end, and also there are several experts among us today with name tags, and there's contact information in your media packet for follow-up. So we'll start with Chris Rhodes, Executive Director of the Solano Resource Conservation District.
Hello, thank you very much. Named Chris Rose. I'm the Executive Director for the Solano Resource Conservation District. Many out there probably don't know what a Resource Conservation District is. We're actually a special district, and there's 90 RCDs throughout the state, and they're all very different. Historically, we've focused our work on conservation work, working with private landowners on public lands, protecting natural resources, planting trees, getting kids outside for education work. But in the recent past, things have shifted, and we have felt that it's very strongly that partnering with our local partners, the city, the cities, the state, CalFire, the different fire districts, really important to address wildfire prevention. So we started off on a different path as far as doing that. And this site is a perfect example of that collaboration to get more good fire on the ground and to make fire something that is becoming more common in a controlled way. And historically, in my work, working for Audubon, California, other RCDs, we burned quite a bit. I'm an older guy now. This is 20 years ago. But it's become less and less common, and we'd like to bring that back to make fire, good fire on the ground with multiple partners like you see here, something that we do more often and it's more common. So, thank you.
And next you'll hear from Robin Rains, who is the Emergency Services Manager for the County of Solano.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for having me. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about emergency preparedness. We are headed into wildfire season, and that is the focus of today. But the great thing about whenever I get a microphone is I get to talk about emergency preparedness in general. Since this is one of our major threats, it is not our only threat. So there are some tips and tricks to know how to be prepared regardless of what disaster type we're talking about. So the most important thing that we really want to express to the community is we all have a personal responsibility for preparedness for ourselves and the people that are dependent on us, and that really starts with having a plan. You have to have an emergency plan that you've thought through in advance, that you've written down and practiced. It's not something to come up with on the fly. A lot of people really struggle with decision making during a critical incident, and that's why it's so important that you have that plan in advance and that you practice it probably at least once a year, and that everyone in your home knows how to implement that plan, whether or not you are there to direct them. Along with that is you need to have your emergency kit ready. That's your go bag. That's if you have to evacuate, that's what you're grabbing, and it has all of your most important documents, maybe on a USB drive or copies. I personally have 7 days worth of all of my prescribed medication on me at all times because you never know what can happen. But in addition to a go bag is really having your home prepared if you had to shelter in place or couldn't leave your home for up to 3 days or more. You really need to be prepared for what that looks like, not only for yourself and your dependents, but also for your animals, your domesticated animals, your dogs, cats, fish, birds, but also if you have large animals on your property, what does that look like for you? Do you have a plan on if you're going to evacuate them? Or if you're not going to evacuate them, how are you going to support them during a disaster if you are sheltered in place and can't get supplies, or if you have to evacuate and can't get back into that area? So there are a ton of resources available on solanocounty.gov/fire ready with links to all of the resources you could imagine on how to make your plan, how to build your kit, what should be in it. There are so many resources available both at local, state, and federal levels. We really tried to just link them all into one spot so you can go there and get all of the information and find all of the resources that you need in order to be prepared for a disaster. Now, I would be remiss if I don't also mention Alert Solano. If you are not signed up for public alert and warning, that is a problem for you. How are you going to know that you need to evacuate? How are you going to know that you have to shelter in place? You need to go to alertsolano.com and sign up to receive emergency notifications. That being said, emergency notification comes in so many different types of ways. Technology is technology, and that means that 100% of the people will not receive the message 100% of the time. There are just challenges to why messages go out sometimes and why you may or may not receive them. Something as simple as having your phone on Do Not Disturb at night may mean that you don't receive that emergency evacuation message. So it's important also to build your community. Be a good neighbor. Obviously, take care of yourself and your dependents first and get them out of danger. But if you have time to notify your neighbor because you don't see their lights on in the middle of the night and they should be evacuating, be that good neighbor if you have that time and that moment to really help them and make sure that they got the message. You can also make sure that you're partnered with people outside of your area. When you have a disaster impacting one area, that impacts communications in and out of that one specific area. So if you have a friend or family member that lives in another state or another county that doesn't, for example, it couldn't be Napa County for us because Napa is generally impacted by the same incidents that we are, so they would be impacted. So somebody further away in a county that's not going to be potentially impacted by the same disaster, they can sign up to receive Alert Solano messages and make sure that you have gotten that message to get out. Make sure, again, you're preparing for everyone in your home, including your animals. Sign up for alerts. You also need to know your evacuation zone. All of these things are linked on our website, again, at solanocounty.gov/fire ready. And it's really important to know your zone because it can save you time. When we send an evacuation message, it will often contain the boundaries of the area that's being evacuated. That's the north, south, east, west boundary. If you are geographically challenged and don't know if you're within that boundary, your evacuation zone should be listed in that message also. So when you see that evacuation zone, you automatically know you're included and you don't have to spend the time to check the map to see if that includes you. So make sure you know your zone as well for emergency evacuations. Make sure, we're talking about wildfire season is coming, that your property is protected and you have your defensible space. There are so many resources available on what CalFire recommends for defensible space from Zone 0, Zone 1, Zone 2, and making sure that you are doing everything within your ability to make your property resilient to wildfire. In addition to that, you can also get resources on home hardening and how you can make your home more resilient against wildfire. Most homes burn from embers, so you really need to make sure that your home is protected against embers getting in through your vents or through your roof or any gaps that you have to make sure that your home is as hardened as it can be and you can protect one of your most precious assets. The next tips I'm going to give you are shared from Solano County Public Health and our partners at Public Health around wildfire smoke and how that can impact the health of not only humans but also animals. So any fire incident, whether or not that is intentional or not intentional, will create a smoke event. And smoke is inherently hazardous to both humans and animals. Now, how hazardous it is will depend upon what's burning. Obviously, wildfire versus a home burning, there are not hazardous materials in the wildland. firsthand that you would see versus a home burning. However, there are still things that can be really challenging to people that particularly have respiratory challenges like asthma or COPD. So especially if you are if you suffer from respiratory challenges, it's really important that you are aware of what the air quality is, which you can find linked through that website as well, or go to airnow.gov to check the air quality to see if it's safe for somebody that has, particular needs around air quality. Making sure that in an event where we have poor air quality or air quality is impacted from wildfire smoke or any smoke, it's important to limit your time outside. Make sure that if you are outside, you're not doing strenuous activity, you're not going on a run, you're not training for your marathon, you're only going outside for the things that you really have to. Limit that time, again, outside. And then when you go inside, change your clothes. Don't leave your clothes in your laundry pile in your bedroom, because that defeats the purpose. Wash yourself and clean those chemicals off of your skin and out of your hair. Stay inside as much as you can. Use your air conditioner. Set it so that it's recycling air inside. If you don't know how to do that, or if you don't know if your air conditioner even pulls air from outside, it's pretty simple. Just turn the fan on to run continuously instead of auto. That will pull most of the air to recycle and make sure that it's filtering through the filter you have in your home. You can also look online. There are so many videos on building air purifiers. You can do it yourself air purifier at a much lower cost than buying one. If you have the means, there are also indoor air quality monitors that you can purchase. But it really depends upon what your needs are and your home. Make sure that you are using a mask if you're outside as well. A surgical mask and a fabric mask will not protect against wildfire smoke, so we do recommend using an N95 mask. However, that isn't useful if it's not securely stuck to your face. So you need to have a tight seal all the way around that N95 mask, or else it's not as effective against wildfire smoke. So, thank you.
And finally, we will hear from Battalion Chief Rob Wetstein from CalFire. Rob.
Good morning, everyone. Rob Wetstein, CalFire Battalion Chief with the Sonoma Lake Napa unit. My geographical area that I cover is the eastern edge of Napa County and all of the SRA in Solano County. It's a pleasure to be here today with our partners across Solano County, the PBA, Prescribed Burn Association, Solano RCD, and also to effectively complete this burn, we're also going to be utilizing our local agencies such as Fairfield City Fire Department, Vacaville City Fire Department, Vacaville District, and others as well. The success of our wildfire suppression and prevention efforts depends heavily on strong relationships between CalFire and those local agencies. Our federal agencies, our tribal organizations, and also our community groups such as the PBAs and the RCDs, and essentially the landowners as well. Working together, we are more effective, more coordinated, and better prepared to protect lives. Our first priority is to protect lives and the property and then the natural resources of the state of California. The Nelson Road Fuel Reduction Project that we're highlighting today is a perfect example of what we can accomplish when we collaborate with purpose and shared commitment. The project that you see behind me in Grassy Oak Woodlands, we plan on burning 110 acres. This is going to create a great buffer and a great target location for us for fires that we've had in this area. We also have some steep terrain, which will cause some complexities to it, but we plan on burning this here in the next week or so. So you will see significant smoke in the area on the 15th, and also for the 4-day period at the end of this month from the 26th through the 29th. Why this location? This high fire severity area has witnessed a bunch of fires in this area. We'll go back to the Hennessy fire in 2020 during the 2020 lightning complex. That fire burned over 330,000 acres and also consumed almost 1,500 structures in its path, and also consumed the lives of 6 of our public members. This was a devastating incident to our home and to our communities. So with this fire, it started in Lake Berryessa in Napa County on the western side. As it combined with multiple other lightning fires in the area, it grew legs and grew stronger and approached Mount Vaca and our critical infrastructure at the top of the hill. From there, it crested the Solano County line and came down the hillside and eventually jumped to I-80 right across the street from us and landed here where we stand today. This devastating fire caused us great grief, and also for us, we don't want it to continue and happen again. So as we observe Wildfire Prevention Week, it's critical that we come together as a community to focus on both awareness and action, and this is a call to action. Preparedness is not just 1 week, it's 365 days out of the year, and we are committed to that with our local partners and our federal agencies as well as our PBAs and RCD. CalFire right now is at the forefront of our wildfire prevention efforts. One of the key ways to reduce the risk of catastrophic fires in the area is fuels reduction work and fuels mitigation. This is using the heavy equipment and also contract crews and our CalFire crews to come in here and burn the reduction of fuels in our grasslands and also our dead and down trees and brush and other fuels that we want to burn that are a nuisance to us. These efforts help create a defensible space around our homes, our communities, and our critical infrastructure. In addition, prescribed burning is the careful use of controlled fire in the landscape, which is a vital tool for our arsenal as firefighters. By mimicking the natural fire cycles and once maintained healthy ecosystems, prescribed burns reduce hazardous fuels, improve forest resilience, and help protect nearby communities from uncontrolled wildfires. Last year alone, CalFire, with the help of our local and federal partners, we have treated over 130,000 acres through more than 900 fuel reduction projects. In addition, we have offered over $290 million in grant funding to more than 170 wildfire prevention and forest health projects as well. These projects are strategically located in these high fire danger areas. And these projects consist of these shaded fuel breaks, opening up existing fire roads, existing dozer lines, and also strengthening our access and egress routes, allowing for our first responders to get in and for our public members to evacuate safely. But prevention doesn't rest solely on our agencies. Each of us has a role to play. That means preparing your property, creating defensible space, and staying informed on fire weather conditions and evacuation plans. I advise everyone to visit our website at readyforwildfire.org for tips and tools to help you and your family protect your home. If you and your family are in an evacuation order, so that you please leave the immediately. Wildfire Preparedness Week calls for all Californians to take proactive steps to reduce wildfire risks and support community-wide mitigation efforts. Together, through proactive measures and shared responsibility, we can reduce wildfire risk and protect the places that we love. I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Chief. And as he mentioned, PBAs are prescribed burn associations. Those are community-led, beneficial fire controlled burn projects. And also the CalFire funding, it was a CalFire wildfire prevention grant to the Yolo Resource Conservation District that the Solano Resource Conservation District is using to implement this project. And with that, we would like to open up if you have any questions. Can't hear you.
City of Vacaville. And I just had a question for our CalFire chief. Can you tell us a little bit more about the conditions that have to be met for a prescribed burn to go forward, and
Yeah, absolutely. So some of the factors within prescription that we do, we use fuel modeling, fire behavior, and we monitor weather conditions. So when we come up with the prescription of our burn, one, we look at the fuels that we're burning in. What type of fuels are they? Their fuel moisture content, the relative humidity, and the temperatures. And we come up with fuel modeling, exactly how fast that rate of spread will burn. So that way, when we come out to a prescribed burn, we work within those prescriptions and the fuels that we are burning. So if we have prescription burns, we look at our RHs, our probability of ignition, and our temperatures. And our biggest factor is the winds. The winds will overcome all of those factors at once.
And being that the fuels right now aren't as dry as we know they will get,
Yes.
will you have to revisit this area potentially later on to conduct another prescribed burn later in the season?
Yeah, so it all depends on the fuels, like you said. Like right now, the grass is really green right now. So as it cures and dries out, that fuel moisture does go down closer to within a better burn window for us within our prescription. So we may come out here and we may not be able to get it to ignite as much as we would like. So we would stand off and we'd put it off further until we can get the fuels to dry out. We want to get good consumption in these fuels. We don't want pockets of green to dry out later on. So getting that full consumption in the grass is what we're trying to achieve. In order to do that, sometimes it is waiting and coming back out later on, letting the fuels dry out.
Chief Weston, could you tell us a little bit what CalFire is doing to prepare for peak fire activity?
Yeah, so CalFire right now, we are in full force with our pre-fire, our VMP shop, and our pre-fire division shop, working with our cooperators and conducting burns like this. We have not stopped. We haven't just started. We've been moving forward with this productive prescribed burning and also fuels reduction work all winter long into last year, and we continue to move forward with our partners from the PBA Prescribed Burn Association, our RCD, and our local cooperators. Right now we have support from the top down from our executive team, from the director, Chief Joe Tyler, and from Governor Newsom to make sure we have the staffing that we need in order to safely and provide safety for the citizens that we protect in this state and our local communities. So right now we have bolstered our staffing. Right now we're fully staffed statewide with all of our seasonal workforce. Right now that occurred in early March, and that's the soonest that's ever happened in my 20-year career so far. So we are getting our team members back, we are training, and we're planning and getting ready for what we expect to be a busy fire season. On top of that, we'll talk about our C-130 program. We have 2 C-130 air tankers online now. It's been a project that we've been working on for a couple of years. These air tankers, they have a capacity of 4,000 gallons that we can hold, so we can provide better efficiency when application of water, more water with our aerial resources, and gives us more time for boots on the ground to get there to do a direct attack on the ground and suppress the fire. So we have 2 online now, 1 out of McClellan and 1 also out of Fresno. We have a 3rd C-130 coming online here in August, and then every 6 months after that, we'll have another one online until we get to a total of 7 C-130s in the state. 5 will be frontline staffed, and 2 will be in reserve. On top of that, too, we've been looking to trade out our old Huey fleet, our Super Hueys, and the Super Hueys that we've gotten from the U.S. military and that were flown during Vietnam. We recognized that we needed to replace them, so we've staffed them up now with our Blackhawks, which we deem our department the Firehawk, which is a Type 1 copter with crew, and more effective, more horsepower, and quicker delivery of water to suppress our fires. On top of that, we also are doing readiness drills with our Type 1 hand crews throughout the entire state happening this week. And they do this Type 1 training to get typed every single year. And we're bolstering our staffing with our crews, with the Firefighter 1 hand crews, our CCC hand crews, CNG military crews, and so on. So we're doing a lot of work. We're still working with all of our partners and building those great relationships so that we, as a state, can work together in mitigating these large catastrophic incidents. California itself has the largest master mutual aid agreement throughout the entire nation, and we're proud to say that.
So we just have one more question for the City of Vacaville Fire Chief Concepcion. If you can tell us just a little bit more about why this location is significant for all of Vacaville and even Fairfield, what we learned during the LNU Lightning Complex almost 5 years ago, and then if we have any other prescribed burns in town for the rest of this year.
Okay. Good morning, and thank you for the question. Before I answer that question, I just want to, as you mentioned, a lot of the acreage that's going to be burned as part of this prescribed burn is in the city of Vacaville. And with all of the agencies that are here, city, county, and state agencies, it's a testament to the cooperation and collaboration that happens at all different levels for wildfire preparedness and prevention. But this area is of particular importance to the city of Vacaville because, as you mentioned, during the LNU Lightning Complex fire and a previous fire to that, this is the area, or about the area, where the fire has jumped the 80 in those fires. So it's very important that we mitigate this area before the fire season. And as far as more events, we do have some areas within the city that we are going to be doing some prescribed burns like Callan Hill in addition in the next month or so. Thank you.
And I wanted to follow up on the question about following up with the burn. The plan is that they will be grazing. So once this gets treated with fire, then it's going to actually be a better place to bring in animals to graze it, and then that will keep down the fuel. So that's my understanding of the long-term plan. It's a good question. Any other questions? As we mentioned, there's a list of contacts in your media packet. There's also a red folder over there with a bunch of cool stuff about prescribed burn associations. We have a few activities. I believe we're going to see some live fire over here soon. We also have a very cool, the YOLO Prescribed Burn Association has its trailer that supports prescribed burns all over the region with a lot of really cool gear in it. And we can take you up to the top of the unit if you'd like to get in the truck and ride up and see the whole unit. So thank you for coming, and we'll move on to the experiences.
Hey guys, stay in place. We're going to
Group
do a big
photo.
group photo if you're okay with that.
copy.
Says they're in a box.
the state, we're trying to increase capacity of prescribed burners with RCDs, prescribed burn associations, which are pretty new, and we're trying to work with approximately 13
We have gloves. We have
resource conservation to increase their capacity for good fire.
Yeah, I know. Here you go. Totally. Thanks, Sonia. Thank you.
I have approximately 30 plus years in fire service. I've worked for federal, state, and local fire department, fire captain, and now I run this nonprofit training folks. And and you'll just cut pieces out. So I don't have to start with okay, perfect. And through this program, what we're really trying to do is empower landowners to be able to take care of their properties, to do prescribed fire, and to both protect ecological and even so we work a lot in this area out of prescribed fire part of it. And we actually had quite a few success stories during the park fire. Prescribed fire, the fire is usually going out on the ground, the community of houses, and there's about 700 acres of green. Yeah, there's a lot of different ways that we're trying to essentially bring fire back into our ecology. A lot of times we'll do fuel mitigation work prior, chainsaw work, an application from a tractor that eats the brush, and then a lot of times we'll come back after that and put prescribed fire in. So really just trying to bring that good fire back into our ecology. Historically, a lot of times, 3 to 7 years. Just trying to get that good fire back. Great. Thanks. All right, thank you. So are you going to be... I'm not going to steal your $1,000... I am, yeah. Yep, I'll be walking. Okay, then Mike. So don't say you have one. It's right here. Yeah, it's just right here. All right. Do you want to keep it on, or?
I'm gonna send that to your parents. Yeah, she'll like it.
Yeah, we're gonna do a test burn real quick.
Actually, with all that in the background,
We've tried that. It looks like you're.
yeah, because it's a rapid
Yeah.
I'm gonna have my pro eyes here determine our lighting and what our best backdrop would be.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
Show grass and stuff.
All right, so here's my squad one. Karen. Squad 2, give me on the hold.
I'm over there, but
I gotta move my camera closer.
That fire's happening.
We're gonna watch it and see what the fire's doing. Alright, let me see a tool, let me see a cloud. So is it burning? Alright, so what we're looking at is how the smoke is going up, right? Smoke going up,
Okay, for your educational component, the pay attention to how the fuels are consuming right now. It's a really good 100%, right? I like the mixes in there, and I think it's
Alright, everybody come around. Do you think our test burn was successful? In the beginning it was, of course, the water. It wanted to run. Right? So what about the smoke? Yeah, it's going up. We would like it to go up, 3,000
I gotta get off
feet.
sticks.
Really, part of putting good fire on the ground is being good neighbors, right? So we're really trying hard to not smoke people out, not impact rates, whatever it is. The freeway, we want to be good neighbors. We want to make good fire. There's going to be smoke, but we really want to try to limit the impact of our smoke on our communities. So we're looking right now to see what it's doing. Is it going to get up 150 feet and start to disperse? What do y'all think?
Copy.
Looks like it, right? So we're just gonna kind of watch it for a second. So now we're gonna watch. Is it gonna come and dip back down towards the freeway? So part of being a good neighbor is when we see something that's not working for us, we stop. Okay? Yes. So how could we get maybe the smoke to go that way a little more? ready? What I want you to do is come over here. Switch your hands back here. Put a couple little dots right here. Just walk about 2 feet to the side. There you go, dots.
I'm going to show on sticks.
behind Cooperson. I'll put it right to the other side. So you want me to go? Are we done with the ignition?
Oh, we need to do one more.
Oh, that's my call. We got to ask Rich on that. Let's go for that. We're not gonna. We don't pioneer with fire, right? We know it. We're anxious and we want to do it. We don't do it without being told.
I don't know what the word is.
Linda! Nope.
Wrapping up with media. We go off sticks and get in there. Oh, okay. We probably get handheld. And then in that corner. I know, I was like, where?
Usually they'll be all black or burnt. Because if you're putting the heat here, the heat is coming up against your leg. This way the fire's burning away from you. So you're gonna have it in your left hand and you're just gonna walk. And then a lot of people walk like this and they think about it. Just turn the bottle. Like go to the very if you see here, it's set up where it keeps in. That is on purpose so that you can. So if I'm gonna spill, I just go like that, and then I bring it in.
Okay. And remind me, is this propane in it? What
No,
kind
this
of
is actually
fuel is it?
diesel and gas.
Okay, diesel and gas.
So the diesel is gas is a flammable liquid, and it has a low ignition temperature, and it burns really fast. Diesel is a combustible; it has a higher ignition. So we actually need the gas to get the diesel to burn, but the diesel has a longer burn time. If we just use gas, if it's grass, but for any other
We would burn at 19 mile an hour wind with 22% RH. Because our prescription was 20 mile an hour wind, 20% humidity, we had to stop. And we would burn right to the ragged edge of it because because we were there the whole time. We burned at night because we would be in red flag all day, and then right at sunset, red flag would expire, and we'd like, right now. This, yeah, grass, prairie, trying to kill eastern red cedar and trying to consume the prairie, because once you burn the grass, I don't know if I told you guys in our group, but when you burn the grass, what grows back is 40% higher protein content. So better for the deer, better for the prairie chickens, better for the cattle. That's more pounds of meat per day's grazing per acre, right? So this is like directly impacting farmers' families. They're like, hey, I can get my kid into regular college instead of just junior college now, you know. 40% increase in protein content is huge.
And
So,
like you can visibly see the difference. Like,
yeah.
If you have two units right next to each other, if one's
All right,
been burned and
crew.
one hasn't been, like,
Y'all are
it's a
gonna
visible
direct
difference.
attack
Right.
this, okay?
More or less dry.
You're gonna come in from the fence and you cut hand line around and hook it.
Getting all lit here.
So get ready.
More on their tree.
If we get more instruction, we're going to what?
You're gonna cut hand line from the fence line. You're gonna tie in over there, and you're gonna work along
Cheers.
the fence line.
Some good fire.
The fire
All right.
all the way around to here. Yep.
In order. So 3 feet off the
Right.
current burn. Okay.
We're just gonna burn this little corner.
Okay.
All right. Is everybody ready?
We are ready.
All right. I got my Kevlar finger gloves. All right. I'll let somebody borrow it.
Stand by, it's gotta get some water.
Might be helpful to bend sideways so you're not hitting your toe on the fence.
30 minutes?
Drag down 5 feet and then come across. Hold on.
Keep your time.
Fire first, sillies.
Just clear direction.
We gotta start the fire first.
Clear direction.
Yeah, start a little fire, come back down.
Yeah, watch where your fire's going and it'll cut down your leg. High step. Make sure you're dropping fire. Not on your shoes.
Watch your fire. Watch your drip torch. Your drip torch is on the other side of the line.
Cross one more time. Hold on. Go back across. Hold on. Yep, go back down. So, yep. Remember, friends don't set ahead fire friends. There you go. Go across. Yep, yep.
Right toward me. Right toward me.
All right. Now y'all can cut line. You ready?
So can we have some clear direction on
Yeah, come on over here and I'll be the boss.
on not pulling hot material into the green zone?
Well, we want to pull it all this way.
Yeah, so clear direction. No, can we please have a refresher on how to be loud when we're in there
There
so
you
that
go.
I can hear my teammates?
All right, so real quick, can everybody right, when you hear something on the fire line, what do you do? Repeat it. And with which voice?
Your outside
Your
voice.
outside voice, all right? Ready?
Yes.
So, we're going to cut hand line along this fire. Once we get to the head, we're going to cut. We're going to go direct. 1 foot in the black, okay? Our escape route is either back down the line, or if you have good black, into the black, okay? Everybody good?
Copy.
All right, squad 1. Start it off.
We're just gonna walk back there.
We'll start right there. Take a chunk and go.
Squad 1.
Just
Squad
one chunk.
1.
Hey,
Haley.
take 1 chunk, go 5 feet.
In the opposite direction.
That's
Fuels
all right.
into the fire.
It's all right. It's okay. It'll be all right.